My name is Paul Val Hernandez, and I am from Texas, USA. You can have all the money. You can drive all the fancy cars. You can have all the high-rise apartment bills. But you'll never take my guitar. Now listen, if you live that perfect life, you'll never know what's wrong or right. I have played music for 17 years since I was 9 years old. Long time. I was born in Riverside, California, and it's like the desert of California. And I've actually always dressed very similar to this. It's obviously probably without the Texas jacket or anything like that, but it's always been very similar, and that's why I'm here because I've just always been Texas influenced. So it just kind of gradually got to that point. I actually showed up. First place I went to was the Skylark Lounge in East Austin, and uh, befriended Soul Man Sam, and we ended up becoming really close. And he would always let me sit in, and thanks to him, he put me on a lot of stages that I wouldn't have been able to be on. You know, it would have took me longer to get there, basically, without him. I actually grew up on punk rock music, and then moved to like heavy rock and roll, and then got into blues at like age 15. So it started with punk, and then as soon as I discovered the whole blues thing, I just never went back. Well, my first ever concert was actually Gwar. Yeah, I got put through a meat shredder actually at 5 years old. You know, the little fake meat shredders they have on stage. Everybody was, just moshing, and the whole crowd was going crazy, and it was gnarly and just mean and angry, and you could feel the emotion in the anger just in the air. And right then and there, I was like, man, this is great. So, and from there on, it just transferred to the Ramones, Sex Pistols, um, stuff like that, and just Black Flag. I was living in Riverside, California, and as much as I loved that place, I was into Texas music, and I was trying to get a band together, and none of the people my age was into that music, so it was tough to relate to them. It was tough to play that style of music, and I moved out here when I just said screw it, I'm not doing this anymore. I moved out here and discovered that there's people my age trying to do the exact same thing as me, and that makes it inspiring because I'm seeing other people do what I want to do, and other people have the same inspirations as me. So it's very inspiring to do what you do here. Everything you get is just a gain. Any gig I got was a gig, was another person to play in front of, was another dollar to put away. That's it. Well, I started off on Fender Stratocasters, and then realized that like I couldn't really sound like myself. So then I moved to a Gibson Les Paul, and I sounded closer to myself, but still not 100%. And now I recently just started using a Firebird, and that makes me play more myself. So recently I've been using a Firebird, and I'll sometimes use a Les Paul too. Or most of the time I use a Les Paul, but I've been switching from the Firebird to Les Paul now. Well, with the whole guitar thing, I think a lot of people don't talk about is that like certain guitars, it's like a Stratocaster for me at least will make me play like every time I pick up a Stratocaster, like I instantly start trying to play like Steve Ray Vaughan. Pick up a Les Paul, I instantly start trying to play like Gary Moore. I pick up a Telecaster, I instantly start trying to do like play like Albert Collins, and that's why I picked up the Firebird because it it does I don't really like pick a certain person to be like.
It's just
That's
you.
why I've been liking the Firebird lately. If I think about what I'm playing, the solo's probably gonna suck. So definitely don't think about anything. Absolutely not. That's usually when I have a bad night. It's like I'm thinking about the playing.
Do you ever think about like your past while you're playing, or the future, or kind of whatever's on your mind at the time?
No, but I sometimes think of myself as another person that I look up to. Sometimes if I'm having a hard time getting into it, I think like, man, you're really sucking. What would Gary Moore do right now? He'd kill it. So, the song you just heard, Miss Influencer, it's about living your life in the now and through your own eyes because technology comes and goes. So, 100 years from now, the social media that we know today probably won't be here, and it's not going to matter. And that's what the song's about. It's just the numbers. How many followers you have or how many numbers you have. In the end, it just really doesn't matter. I got this snake band from. Everybody just calls her the the snake lady, and I'm just that's a mystery too. And she just the snake queen, the rattlesnake queen, gave me this snake band, and I just never taken it off since. It makes me feel like Johnny Winter. Definitely, I would say the people that made me want to do this for a living and never stop ever would be all the Texas blues greats: Lonnie Mack, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Freddie King, Johnny Winter, Albert Collins, W.C. Clark, Jimmy Vaughn, even some current ones, Soul Man Sam. Those guys give me the inspiration to just keep doing it, no matter what. A guilty pleasure. This is a true guilty pleasure. I am like really, really. I'm not trying to sound like a hater, but I do not like the rap music that's out today. It's simply not good. But Tyga, I don't know why. His shit is just catchy. Like his choruses are like really catchy, and his lyrics are like funny. So my guilty pleasure is like I'll get down to some Tyga if I have to, for sure. Well, I'm used to having nothing, so I don't care as far as pop music concerned. I mean, I could I could record songs and add a bunch of claps and distort my voice to death, and get on whatever Spotify playlist. But it's just when you're used to just coming up and playing without getting paid, and when you're just used to nothing really, it doesn't matter. One of my best friends from back home. His name is Zach Rogers. He unfortunately passed away when he was 24, but we were in a band together in Riverside, and he was an amazing tattoo artist. So he did most of my tattoos.
Like
The first tattoo I got was the Misfits tattoo because I wanted to be like Cliff Burton from Metallica, because how he had the Misfits skull on his right arm. That's the only tattoo he had. So I thought I was only gonna get that one tattoo because I was like, Cliff Burton's so awesome. Like, I want to fucking be like him. So I was like, I'm gonna get the Misfits tattoo, and I was like, that's the only tattoo I'm gonna get. And here we are, like 20 later, probably gonna get more, obviously. Yeah, yeah. I have to write sober for sure. I've never been able to get anything done under the influence of anything ever. So, I mean, the only thing I do under the influence is fight and destroy. So, definitely can't write a song under the influence. But yeah, as far as the writing process, sometimes a song will write itself, and then the other times I write a song and I play 100 gigs and write it as we play, and it evolves and evolves and evolves. And there's songs that I've written 8 years ago that I still cannot find a bridge for or a chorus for, and they end up just going nowhere, and that happens too. Oh, I've had so many mentors, whether it's my dad or his friends, and any one of my dad's friends are just family to me, and I've been fortunate actually with mentors. I've had a lot of people care about me, even when I was, maybe acting like an asshole or not putting 100% into it when I should have been, or making mistakes. And I still had a lot of people believe in me when I didn't. So, yeah, for sure. Um, when I put out my first EP, Steady Rock and Roller, we recorded at 512 Studios with Omar Vallejo, and it's very rock. It's a little bit of blues in there, but I have just so much to give out. So I'm releasing a lot of rock stuff first, and then going to release some more heavier traditional blues, because at the end of the day I want to be cemented as a one of the blues greats. In order to do that, you can't just play rock. You have to play the music right, and it's very, 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 very tough to do. And so that's coming soon, because a lot of people, they'll see me live and they're like, I'm playing a lot of blues, and then if they hear my Spotify music, it's almost completely different. And that's what a lot of blues guys are kind of doing now, which is cool, works for them, but I want to actually put what I do live on the record, because a lot of times you go see, if somebody calls themselves a blues guitar player, you go see them and they'll play a lot of blues and they sound really good. They sound really good. And you can look at their Spotify and it just sounds really commercial, and you're like, wow, it doesn't really sound like what I heard. But it's like, everybody's different. I'm not knocking it. It's just like, I want to be able to put what I do live on a record, because it's challenging for me. It's hard to be yourself on a record. It's the most difficult thing, I feel. Well, what makes me want to do what I do, it's a feeling. It's just a feeling that, like, in my gut, it's like, you can call it what you want. You can call it like a higher power. If you don't believe in it, that's cool too. But it's something that when things are going wrong for me, like when things are going wrong in my life, it's like there's no option of like doing anything else. It's like there's something that just like is forcing me to do it, that's not myself. So, yeah, like a certain energy that's, making me do it. Like, I have to do this. It's not like, do I want to, or like, should I, or it's just like, I have to, pretty much. Honestly, there's always a little bit of a stage fright with this style of music, because it's so emotional, and I'm putting myself out there for people, and in front of people, and exposing myself. So it's always a little weird for me. There's always a little bit of a stage fright, regardless. It doesn't matter if there's a little bit just playing in front of you guys. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Okay, man. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen on 6th Street?
Craziest thing I've ever seen? The craziest thing I've ever seen was probably watching myself get arrested for throwing a scooter in the street. That was pretty strange. Gonna have to pay that PI. Outside of music, I don't really have any hobbies. I don't really do anything else. I enjoy like fighting, martial arts, drinking, destroying things.
In California, or even when you moved to Texas, did you grow up scrapping at all, or did you ever have people pick on you or like confront
Oh, yeah.
you in any way? Or
Absolutely.
what did that feel like?
It made me have more respect. I have more respect for people now. It's funny to me how I get people will complain to me about the world right now, and society, and they get so hurt by things that people say, or get offended, if you want to call it being offended or whatever like that. But it's like, I ask these people like, oh, where are you from? And they say like, and they tell me, oh, the richest part of wherever. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Well, like, I can handle society in a different way, because I grew up, and I had every culture, every color of skin, you know, bully or fight me, and I had to fight them back, and we shook hands afterwards, and there was that respect, you know. So I think that has definitely, I wouldn't change it for anything. So
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Do you feel like music, whether it be your own music or just music in general, can change the way people feel about each other?
Yo, hell yeah. That's why it's like, that's why I love punk rock music so much, is because I was 12 years old, you know, watching the Addicts play in Corona, California, and it's like there's a mosh pit, you know, and there's a black guy, there's a Mexican guy, there's an Asian guy, there's a white guy, and they're all in there throwing down, you know, and somebody gets knocked down, somebody gets punched in the face, they get picked right back up, and it doesn't matter who you are or anything like that. A lot of my favorite influences, my Texas influences, they had like they had a punk rock attitude, you know, but before it was even considered, before punk rock was even invented, I mean, you know what I mean? They're playing a style of music that nobody was even really paying attention to, and they had that attitude. And you know, a lot of bluesmen too, like didn't take any shit, you know? If you said one thing wrong to Howlin' Wolf, you might get stabbed. You know, you might get stabbed, you know, you might get straight up punched in the face. So, you know, you say something wrong to Buddy Guy, you might get slapped too. That's punk rock to me. Thank you to Tomahawk Studios for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you to 512 Studios, Omar Vallejo, West Management, and Blue Norther for giving me some awesome seltzer to drink that doesn't taste like crap. And I hope you guys just enjoy what I'm doing.
You never have your way.